Hi, good morning, everybody. So this week is our farm week. So this week we're going to learn all about different farm animals. And so our craft this week, I racked my brain on what we should do, and I found this very cute pattern for no-sew sock puppies. I can't say that very quickly or I get all tongue-tied, which I know is amusing, but I try not to get tongue-tied. So in your kits, if you've picked up your packets this week, you're going to have this little bag. In this bag is a sock, some stuffing for your puppy. There's 6 rubber bands, and that is it. That is in your pack. What you will need is some glue and a pair of scissors. I've got some fabric glue that I'm going to use, but the regular Elmer's glue, the extra strong, should work just fine for what we're going to need this for. If you want to make sure that it's like the hat stays on really good, you can get mom or dad to use a hot glue gun, and they can hot glue that on to just make sure that that's secure. But it's not necessary. In your packet, you are going to have the written instructions for our no-sew sock puppy. And then you can get some fabric markers. I'm going to use a Sharpie marker to draw my puppy's face on. But you can use fabric markers to just color your sock. But this is the sock that you're going to get. We're going to not use all of it. The main portion that we're going to use is the part that your foot goes in. And that's all. So let's get started. So what you're going to want to do first is you're going to want to flatten the sock out this way. So it's like, you know, when your foot goes in it, it's shaped like this way, with that hillside up. And we're going to start making the puppy's little feet. All right. So I've got that, and kind of stretch it out some because we're going to be working with that. Now, in your bag is fiber filled. This stuff is really fluffy, but it compresses down really well. And so what you're going to want to do is roll it into a ball and get it kind of as tight as you can get it. You can fold it up and then roll, but we want it a little ball. And so what we're going to do is we're going to take that little ball, we're going to stuff it into the toe of the sock, into the corner, and we're going to just hold that like that. So we've made a little ball. And now we're going to take one of our rubber bands and wrap around there. Now these rubber bands that are in your packet are the rubber bands that you can get in the hair accessory aisle, and they're the little rubber bands. I think the package of the ones that I got were like 98 cents for 250. And so if one of your rubber bands pops, it's not a super expensive thing for you to go and replace those. Or if y'all want to make different sock puppies, go for it. Or use the same pattern and make a different animal by changing the ear shape. So now we're going to make the other foot. So same thing, get that piece and roll that into a ball. And ooh, sorry, I almost lost it. Well, there it goes. And stuff that into the opposite corner of our other foot. And then rubber band that. So now our puppy has 2 little feet. Now what we're gonna do, like my instinct is, like I want to make the little puppy belly and stuff. But first we have to make his arms, because once that belly gets in there, you're not going to be changing anything. Those little round puppy bellies once you stuff it the rest of the way. So we're going to do the same thing that we did for his feet, for his front feet. And here you just kind of decide where you want his arms to go. So I figure this is going to be the top of his head. So you don't want your arms too close to that heel. So I go about right there, and we do the same thing that we did with his little feet. These rubber bands that I'm using, because I had used all of the black ones when I made the kits, thank you, Miss Annie, are those rubber bands that they use for the craft bracelets. So if you've got a ton of those laying around too, you can use those. You know, those where you weave the rubber bands around and you can make bracelets and necklaces, and it was a big craft thing for kiddos not too long ago. So I had some extra of those laying around. So that's what I'm using now. So there's lots of different things that you can use. You can even use hair ties, because I mean, you don't have to keep. You can make this and then unmake it if that's what you decide to do. All right, so his other little hand, but they're so cute. And then you can make these for gifts. Like this is something that, you know, your kiddos can make and then give to grandma. I bet grandma would love these. I'm an aunt and a mom, and I would love it if I got one of these from some little hands that made it all by themselves. That'd be sweet. All right, so now our puppy has 4 feet, like all good puppies should. Ooh, look, I got some of that sock. There we go. Stretch that out some. So now it's time to make that puppy belly. You can stuff your puppy's little tummy as much or as little as you want to. I don't pack that up like you did the feet. I didn't roll mine into a ball too much. So, but we just kind of stuffed that in there, and I can use a little bit more. Now, if y'all run out of this fiber film, you can get it at Walmart. I got a huge bag for $10, so it's not super expensive either, and it goes to a lot of different things. We made about a year ago, we did the no-sew sock bunnies, and I used rice in that, but you could use the fiber fill. It just won't be quite so heavy, so it won't stand up on its own. And so then you just kind of look and you see, I think he needs a little bit more. All right, that looks good. So now what we do is we take another rubber band, and this is his neck. So this is where you kind of decide where his neck is going to go. And we just tie that rubber band around here. There we go. Now we've got his little feet and his arms and his body, and now we're gonna fill for his head. Now this is a really long sock. You see, we aren't going to use all of this. Part of this is going to be used for his ears, and part of this is going to be used for a little hat that we're going to make him. If you don't want to use the hat, you don't have to. If you don't want to make the hat, that is perfectly fine. It's just another step. So I know you're sitting there going, this is like, what? That's not proportional. And it's not, but we're going to cut some of that off. That's what the scissors are for. So I'm going to get some fiber fill. I'm going to roll that up just a little bit because I want to make sure that it's not as fluffy as his body. I guess his head could be bigger than his body. That could happen. But all right. we just make sure that's good and stuffed in there. It does need a little bit more. I feel like I need to get a colored tablecloth because I tend to do a lot of things with white things, and I feel like it just blends into this table. Something for me to think about. All right, so now I've got his little head done, and we tie off that. All right, so now we've got that done. Now we use our scissors. Again, like I say every week, if you are not allowed to use scissors, this is where a grown-up or an older sibling can help. So I personally just cut off at where the ridged section of the sock is, and that's going to be our hat. So I'll leave that on the side there. So now I've got this, and you can tell it's like the fuzzy side, inside part of the sock. And what we'll do, we'll just very carefully cut down the middle, but not all the way to that rubber band. Okay, so now we've got 2 ears. Now, if you would like to, you can leave the ears just like that. Like, look, they can kind of curl, like some puppies' ears do. Or you can shape them to where they're not so square. So we can take, say we want to just round out these little edges here. So you just take and can round out those little corner pieces. Or you can change the shape, make them triangle shaped, because some puppies have triangle shaped ears. This is where you get to kind of decide what your puppy looks like. Oh. There we go. That'll work for right now. All right, so here is our puppy. Now we're going to make the hat. So now we have this piece of sock that we cut off. The top part of the sock kind of looks like the edge of a beanie, doesn't it? And so when we fold it like this, it kind of looks like a beanie hat for winter. And I know it's summer, but this is really cute. You'll just have to see. And we're going to put this over our puppy's little head. And if you like, you could even make this look like a doll without the puppy ears. There's all kinds of things you can make with using this base pattern and not. This is where if you want the hat to be a little more secure, you can use a dot of glue, fabric glue, or Elmer's glue, or a hot glue gun. As long as mama or grown-up says it's okay. But so now we've got this little puppy self looking. Look at that. No, he doesn't have a face yet. We'll get there. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take a rubber band, or you can tie little knots. In the top. Now, this is where you can decide what to do with what's left over on the top of this hat. You can trim it, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to take part of that sock off. And then I'm going to take my scissors and just go around here and cut it into strips. Not all the way to the rubber band, and not where it will cut off and fall off, but I'm making kind of like a faux pom-pom for the top of his hat. Now you've got a couple of buttons in your bag, and you can use those to make put him on his belly if you would like to. Because I have, where did I, there we go. I have this. I'm gonna cut that little strip of sock that I have. Now this is where, like, if you have fabric markers or whatnot, it'd come in really handy. You could color this so it looks like a scarf. We can tie this around the little puppy's neck like so. And look, now he has a little scarf. And I'm going to use my button, and I'm going to put it on my puppy's hat. But there are all different kinds of ways that you can use your decorations. And you don't have to use the buttons at all. Ooh, that white on white blends in. All right. So looky here. Isn't he cute? Now let's give him a face. So, you know that puppy that has a little ring around his eye? I really think he's adorable. So I'm going to draw a little circle. You got to be a little careful drawing on fabric because it's not the same as drawing on paper. So he's got a little circle around his eye. And then put a little dot there in the middle. And then here's another little dot for the other eye. I'm going to draw a little dot for his nose, and then down and around, and down and around. So there's his little puppy face. Now, I think all puppies need tails, so I will draw a tail on our puppy. So just a little curve lined up, and then a little curve line down. We got a little puppy tail. So, and there you go. That is all there is to our no-sew sock puppy. Isn't he adorable? I think he's adorable. So I hope y'all enjoyed this craft, and I can't wait to hear all about what y'all have made, and hopefully you will post pictures down below so I can see what you've made, and since you can see what I've made. And y'all have a great week, and we'll see you next time.